all these three fingers down in the left and right. And then we're gonna press this key here. Hey, my sax playing friend, Alexander here from saxophoneMasterclass.com. Today I wanna show you a really important scale you should be learning on the saxophone if you're sort of a beginner and you're trying to move into that intermediate stage. It's the C major scale in 2 octaves. So we're gonna go from the middle C all the way up to the high C, and then I'm gonna show you how to play a middle C all the way down to that low C on the sax. So I'm gonna be showing you all the fingerings step by step, one by one, but if you want, you can download the fingerings, the note names, and the sheet music for the C major scale at saxophoneMasterclass.com/C major, and you can download that absolutely free, no strings attached, and then you'll find it a lot easier to follow along to this lesson, and you can start working on the scale offline as well. Now, this is going to be a challenging scale if you're still trying to get your low notes, you're still trying to get your high notes, but I do have other lessons to help you improve your low notes on the sax as well as your high notes on the sax, and I'm going to link to those in the description and at the end of this lesson as well. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the C major scale starting on the middle C, moving all the way up to the high C on the saxophone. So we're going to start on this middle C right here, okay? So that's the only finger you're going to be pressing down. Place your thumb on the backrest there and keep these fingers and these fingers sort of resting on the keys so that they're not up like this. And we're just going to press down that middle key there, okay? So not 1, but 2. And then we're not pressing down 3 either, just that middle C. Now we're going to move up to D, which is all the 3 fingers in the left, 3 fingers in the right, and the octave key in the back. Then we're going to go up to E. We just release this bottom ring finger here in the right hand. Then we lift up our middle finger in the right hand to play F. Lift up our ring finger in the right hand to play G. Again, pressing the octave key the whole time. Move up to A, just the top 2 fingers. Up to B, just that top finger here with the octave key again. And then finally we're going to go back to C with the octave key this time. So there are all the notes of C major starting on middle C going up to the high C with the octave key. So you're going to be pressing that back octave key the whole time when you're playing the scale, apart from that first note on middle C. So from D all the way up to the high C, you're pressing that octave key. So let me play it for you ascending and descending now. So that's a good way to practice a scale. Start on that middle C, go up to the high C, take it very slowly, keep it even the whole time. And if you are having trouble getting those high notes, I have another video on that will help you improve those high notes as you get higher on the instrument. I'm going to link to it at the end of this lesson. So now I'm going to play you C major starting on middle C, but this time we're going to go down the instrument right to that low C on the sax. So let me show you. So we're going to start in that middle C, again using the middle finger of the left hand. And this time we're not going to go up to D, we're going to go down to B. So this time we're not pressing the octave key either. So all the notes now are going to be without the octave key. So B is just that first finger in the left hand. And then we just press A, 2 fingers in the left hand. Down to G, 3 fingers in the left hand. Down to F, hold down those 3 fingers in the left, 1 finger in the right. Down to E, 2 fingers in the right, 3 fingers in the left. D, all the fingers down, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then finally we're going to play the low C. Okay, so the low C is all these 3 fingers down in the left and right. And then we're going to press this key here, not this one, that's our E flat. This is the low C, pressing down that low key here at the bottom of the instrument. So this is low C. So that low C is going to be hard to get, especially if you're a beginner, but remember I have another video to help you with getting those low notes, so check that out at the end of this lesson. So now I'm going to play you C major, starting on the middle C, going all the way down to the low C, take a breath and go all the way back up from the low C to the middle C again. So that was C major, starting on the middle C, going all the way down to the low C, and then going back up to that middle C again. So now I'm going to play you the C major scale in 2 octaves, starting on the low C. Again, this can be quite difficult to do, so make sure to start the same process that I did, playing on middle C, trying to get up to the high C, and then trying to play middle C, and go gradually down to the low C, and try to work on getting those low notes step by step. If you can't quite get that low C yet, that's no problem. It's very common to not get that low C consistently, especially as a beginner. So I'm going to start on the low C, go all the way up to the high C, stop, and then come all the way back down again. And I'm going to take a breath at every C in the scale. So I'm going to start on low C, take a breath on the middle C, go up to the high C, take a breath, then go back down to the middle C, take a breath, and then finally go back to the low C on the saxophone. So this is a good place to start if you're trying to figure out where to breathe when playing the scale. If you're still running out of breath before you reach that point in the scale, you can take breaths earlier in the scale as well. I recommend every 3 or 4 notes. So let me play you the full scale now. So you may notice I'm tonguing every note while I'm playing the scale, which is a really important technique to do when you're a beginner sax player. But I also recommend not tonguing any of the notes if you're a little more advanced. If you can slur into every note without tonguing and do that in time with good rhythm, that's really going to help improve your technique on the saxophone. So remember, when you're starting on that low C, make sure to take a deep diaphragmatic breath before you get that low C out. Try to play a little further in on your tongue as you're playing that low C. That's going to make it a little easier to get out as well. And as you get higher, you need to really focus your airstream so you're not biting down on the reed and you can get it in tune without going sharp on the saxophone. So just a couple of things to think about. Again, I have a couple of videos you can check out on how to improve your high notes and how to improve your low notes. I'm going to link to those at the end of this video as well as in the description. So again, if you want the fingerings for all of these notes, just go to saxophonemasterclass.com/C major. I'll show you all the note names, all the fingerings, as well as the sheet music, so you can see how all of these notes are written out on music paper. Now I have a lot more lessons on this channel of scales that you can learn, of different tone exercises you can practice, how to learn specific songs on the saxophone step by step. So if you are interested in learning more, please subscribe, please like this video, and comment below if you have any questions or if there's any other lessons that you want me to cover on this channel as well. I read every single comment and I often get inspired by what people are looking to learn on the saxophone based on their suggestions. So if there's something you really want to learn on the sax but you can't quite get it, let me know and I'll try to cover it in an upcoming video. So that's it for me today, friend. Thank you so much for checking out this lesson. I really hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, happy playing.